In our gospel today, we hear how King Herod felt he was trapped in an impossible position. He didn't want to kill John the Baptist, but he had promised the girl anything she wanted, even to half of his kingdom, and was ashamed to have to go back on his promise in front of his guests. Unable to see a way out, he gives in and has the saint executed. And on reflecting on that, we see Herod's complete inability to recognize the value of human life. He sometimes seems to think that feeling embarrassed is somehow worse than having an innocent person murdered in prison, which shows just how amazingly selfish his worldview must be. Since he doesn't just feel like his life is much more important than the lives of others, but actually believes that his comfort is more important than the life of a human being. But it goes deeper than that. Just the very fact that he felt trapped shows his complete inability to understand the true value of human life. After all, I would argue that the life of St. John the Baptist is actually much more valuable than half of Herod's kingdom. So he never really promised her anything that valuable in the first place. After all, if she had come back and said that she wants his entire kingdom, and for him to walk out penniless, he would not have felt trapped in that decision. He would have laughed it off as a joke, and everybody would have laughed along with him. But he doesn't realize that the life of a human being, of an innocent human being, is worth so much more than all his wealth. And there he already has made a huge misunderstanding that changes everything that happens after that. And unfortunately, his way of thinking is not that unusual in our world today. A lot of people question the value of human life, don't see it as infinite. They start to treat certain people as being worth less than others because they might be poor or disabled or hold the wrong political opinion or be elderly or refugees or unborn. They start to question whether the life of certain people might not be too much hassle or embarrassment or cost. They forget that every human person is created in the image and likeness of God, and that every one of them is infinitely valuable and more important than even the greatest of human kingdoms. And just as St. John the Baptist was willing to stand up for the truth, even in the face of the king, so we must continually remind our world, our culture, of the value of every person, starting by the way that we treat everyone. And so we must ask for the help and intercession of St. John the Baptist, that we may receive the grace to be able to see every person we meet with the eyes of God and recognize their infinite value, the way they were created for greatness, the way they are fully and completely loved. It is only when we recognize them as priceless and are willing to proclaim that to the world that we will truly be able to live lives of love, that we'll be truly able to imitate our Lord, who was willing to give up his life to save any one of us. That is the ideal we have to strive for. And it starts by recognizing that the life of every person is worth more than all the world, all the wealth, all the power, and all the glory.